Hello, everyone. This is Rose. Today's topic from the Book of Life is grown children, young adults, disrespecting their parent because they felt provoked by the parent. This weighs heavy on my heart, and I want to talk about it from two different perspectives. I want to talk about it from a child who is spiritual, but the parent isn't, and also the reverse of that, a parent who is spiritual, but the child isn't. Okay, now in Ephesians of the Bible, Ephesians chapter 6, 1 through 4, the Bible states, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. It says, this is right. Honor your father and your mother, which is the first commandment with a promise. This is the first commandment given to children of all ages. So in other words, if you're a young adult, don't think that this excludes you. It's still speaking to you. And it says that it may be well with you, that you may live long on the earth. When you honor this first commandment that is given to you, that your days on earth will be long. And then it goes on to say in Ephesians 4, it says, fathers, do not provoke your child to anger, but bring them up in the training and discipline of the Lord. How do we do this when you have a parent who is not spiritual and you have a child that is? Especially, many times it's difficult for a young adult person who is a believer and is growing spiritually to live with a parent that has the knowledge of God, but no relationship with God. It's difficult for that child because this is a person who raised you, and you know this person is not evil, but at the same time, you learning all these godly principles and you going to church and you get in a relationship with God, and you begin to now look at your parent in a way as how I would say, in a judgmental way. And what you have to learn as a young adult child, as you're growing spiritually, how to separate judgment from fruit inspection. Suddenly you come into this new way of thinking, and you spiritually becoming strong and aware and alert. And now you judging, you ready to go out and judge the world based on what you learn and based on how you feel they should conduct themselves, and especially when you're living with a parent who do not go to church like you do, who do not read their Bible like you do, who you don't think pray because you don't hear them pray, who you don't think have any type of contact or communication with God because you don't see it. Yet and still, you know your parent is not an evil person, but you feel that they're lacking in their spirituality, in their growth with God. So you make a judgment call. And when this parent is trying to have a grown discussion with you and show you some things that they feel that needs to be critiqued, some things that you need to improve in because you're living with them as a grown person, a young adult, and you're not applying yourself in the way they feel you should apply yourself. So when you're living with this parent who is consistently being a parent because you're in their household. Now, it's one thing when you're living with them and they're allowing you to do whatever and not say anything, and they don't care, and they don't bring any advice to you, any wisdom to you. That's one thing. But when that parent is very vocal about what they see in you and how you are lacking in growth as far as in life, not in spiritual growth, but as far as in life, and they begin to speak on it with you. And they may not always have the right approach. I get that, because a person that has a relationship with God and read the Bible will have a more understanding about how to discipline without hurting a person, without putting a person down, without belittling a person, without making them feel like they worthless, and that's where the division come in, because the spiritual child is now talking to the parent like they are the devil, like you evil, when they know their parent is not evil, because they don't really have anything to judge that evil on, because they so new into their spiritual walk. They haven't really faced no real devils to know that their parent is not evil, because they bring in correction, because they're speaking to you that doesn't make you feel good, doesn't sit well with your spirit. And there is a growth that needs to be on both parties' part. And you can help them with that growth, your parent. The thing, because now that you are growing spiritually, you can help them with that growth, but you got to know how to help them. You have to know that it's not judging them and condemning them to hell and telling them that they're evil and telling them that because they don't read their Bible, they don't believe in God. You got to understand something. Your parent did a whole lot of living before you came into this world. And you don't understand everything they went through because they didn't share that with you. You don't understand their upbringing because they didn't share that with you. But you cannot judge your parent on not having the knowledge and the wisdom in God that you may have gained from being a person who goes to church, who reads your Bible, who pray. And even as we grow in spirituality, we still always learning new things and more about God. And the main thing you have to learn is not to judge your parent. Really soul search your heart and ask yourself, do you truly believe your parent is dark, is evil? Because if you believe that, then as a young adult who is a grown person, you wouldn't be in their house. But to be in their house and to disrespect them, to talk to them in a manner that is very disrespectful, is going against the same principles that you trying to judge them on. You are judging. It's one thing to fruit inspect. When you fruit inspect, you look at a person's characteristic traits. You look at how they carry themselves. You look at, are they an honest person? Are they honest? Are they fair? Do they treat you with loving kindness? Yes, they may talk to you about some things that you need to improve in. And yes, their delivery may not be clear and it may seem like they're putting you down. But you as a spiritual walker, a spiritual person who's growing in God, show them and teach them and tell them how it should be done in a manner that they can receive it. Because when you come at them in a very boisterous way, and you coming at them like you are their parent, or they are so wrong about every approach they come to you in life, when you coming at them strong like that, how do you expect them to perceive what you're saying? One of the greatest things you can be as a teacher, as a young adult, who parent is don't have the relationship that you have with God, is through example. Let him see that light of God inside of you. Let him see that glow in you. Let him show him through example your father or your mother. Show your mother through example. Show your parents through example how that light and that glow inside of you cause you to speak freely and speak openly, but speak in a respectful way. To tell your truth, but tell it respectfully. Tell them how they make you feel when they come to you constantly badgering you or putting you down or telling you you need to be further in life or what you need to be doing in life, and they tired of doing this for you and they tired of doing that for you, and you need to be figuring out how to do this for yourself. When they constantly come into you and all you hear is negative talk in your ear from them, express to them how that makes you feel. Express to them that they don't understand that when they're speaking in your ear in such a degrading, negative way, it's not going to cause you to uplift you to do better. It's going to push you down. Because express to them that if God says that faith come by hearing, that in order to believe in him and to hear him, to believe, have faith in him, you got to hear his word. So if faith come by hearing and they're constantly putting you down, then what they're doing is they stopping your growth. They stopping your growth because they're making you feel bad about yourself. And they're making you feel like you're a failure, that you can't accomplish what it is they feel you should be accomplishing. So express that to them in a compassionate way. Give them what it is you want from them. You want compassion from them. You want understanding from them. You don't want them to judge you. You want them to talk to you like you are a young adult. You have to give what it is that you're expecting to receive. You cannot match their energy and then think that God is overlooking you because you was provoked. That's not how it works. The light still got to shine even though you feel darkness is present, because the light is more powerful than darkness. So if you step into the darkness and match its energy, then how do you tell the difference between you and what you perceiving as being dark? You got to allow your relationship with God to strengthen you and cause you to grow in a way that you know how to handle this parent that is not growing the way you are. And you got to keep in mind, don't judge that parent and say they don't believe in God when you don't know that. Have a discussion with them. Sit down and talk to them and say, I want to understand where you at with God. How do you believe? Do you believe in God? Say to your parent, do you believe? How do you believe? Do you believe because through hearing somebody speak about him to you? Because I don't see you read your word. I don't see you read the Bible. So how do you believe? How do you believe in God? How do you have a relationship with him and know how to have understanding and compassion and love in everything that the fruit of the Spirit is when you don't know his word as far as I can see? Help me to see that you know his word, that your knowledge of him and your understanding of him can be a little bit more gentleness and compassion and grace. Explain that to your parent so that they can help give you what it is you're looking for. Don't just right away judge them because they don't have what you have. You had to go to church and listen to the word. You had to read your Bible to get where you at. So before you got there, did someone judge you? Did someone say that you don't believe in God? Did someone say you were evil? Did someone say you were dark? Understand something. Even as we become spiritual people, even as we walk with God daily, it's a day-to-day walk. Because it doesn't mean that the adversary can't whisper in our ear and cause us to act like the adversary, even though that's not what's in our heart. Sometimes we can look like the image that is not of God. Sometimes we can look like that. We can go there as Christians, as believers, because that adversary, that's why the Bible tells us this, to be vigilant, to be on guard, to guard our hearing, to pay attention, because it's so easy for the adversary. He's very crafty. The Bible tells us that adversary is crafty. Before you know it, we are in a debate and we're acting as ugly as the person we're debating and we're talking to, but we don't see it ourselves being that way because we believe in God. We read our Bible. Oh yeah, you can be that way. The adversary can use you as well, even as a believer, and even as a person that know the word of God. The adversary can still use you. So take a seat back and go to God and ask him, how do you approach a parent who you feel is not a believer, who you feel is evil, when I know in your heart you know your parent is not evil? Take a step back, pray about it, meditate on it, and really step with wisdom, godly wisdom, because even as a young adult, you can have godly wisdom. Move with godly wisdom. You would reach your parent in a more sufficient way, a better way, when you go to that parent with compassion, with love, godly love, and you talk to them in the way that you are proclaiming to be. You putting them down, you yelling, you disrespecting them. You don't realize you disrespecting them by yelling at them and telling them they're evil and they don't believe in God and telling them all this stuff about themselves. You don't see that as disrespect? If you don't, go back. Read Ephesians chapter 6, 1 through 4. Read it. There's a way you can get your point across. There's a way you can talk to your parent and help them to see the light that is shining inside of you. Help them to see that. Also, understand when you're living in a parent house and they are still taking care of you as a young adult, they have a right to say certain things. Now, how they deliver that is one thing. I think delivery is very important. I think parents have to understand that just because they are the parent, that their young adult children is still little bitty kids for them to lecture and not, they have to grow with that child and understand this is a grown child. You need to talk to them the way you would another grown adult. You have to respect them as a grown adult. And you have to not talk to them like a little kid and you better do this and you need to do that. And you got to understand, parents that have spiritual kids, you have to understand that they have free will. Okay? And they understand they have free will. And you can't take away their free will like you did when they was 2 years old, 5 years old. And because they was not of age to make their own decisions. They was not of age to care for themselves. And although they're in your home and you are taking maybe 70% or 50% financially caring for them, they are still a young adult. And you got to build them up in order for them to step outside of your home and become what it is you feel they need to be as a young adult. Everybody don't get there in the same time period that you got there. There's generational gaps between us and our children, our young adult children. There's generational gaps. So we have to understand the principles that we was raised by has changed. And although we use these principles, we have to sometimes tweak them to fit into the the new era, the new generation, because they don't understand what we went through when we was coming up as kids, how our parent had us working since the age of 12. And at least for me, I worked every summer since the age of 12 to buy my school clothes. My parent didn't buy my school clothes. I bought my own. And guess what? When I worked, I had to come home and give my mom 1/3 of my check. 1/3 of my check went to my mother and 2/3 went on school clothes. Sometimes I saved $5 for me to have junk on it to eat on. But those type of work ethics was put in me as a baby boomer. That's the way I grew up. And I understood that in my parent house, between birth and 18, those were instrumental years of development to train me in how to live on my own. And once I got those fundamentals in me, and I'm now classified as a full adult at the age 18, I have to start looking into either staying in school or getting a job so I can get my own place. Those are the fundamentals that was put in us baby boomers. That's what we lived off of. That's what we was raised off of. So now that we come to our kids, sometimes we don't know how to soften that or change that a little bit, tweak it to fit into today's time. And I think that's where we go wrong at. But when we are rooted in God's word and we have a relationship with him, it helps us to know how to adjust and how to change according to the times. And when we have a parent that doesn't know how to switch into that change, then you have to help them. You have to know how to talk to them, to help them. But understand, your parent is not coming from a place of not wanting to see you succeed or wanting to badger you and make you feel down, because they can't see it. They can't see that that's what they're doing. So you have to find a way to get them to hear you. And you can't get them to hear you when you're yelling, when you're disrespecting your parent. Understand that Bible is for them as well as it is for you. You got to be the first example, since you are the one who's walking in this spiritual light, to show them the meaning of the words in that Bible by how you live and how you talk to them. Cannot match that energy and then expect a different, expect that parent to get what you're saying when you're not getting what they saying because of their energy and how they coming at you. All y'all doing is bumping heads. Nothing is getting in. It has to be a better way. Now, on the flip side of this, you have children that is not spiritual. Parent may have taken them to church, but they go to church just to mingle with the other kids and just because the parent is taking them to church. But the growing spiritually, growing in God is not in them. Now, I had to deal with this one because I had to deal with my child, my youngest child, son. He tells me when he turned 18, he tells me that I said, okay, son, you're 18. It's time for you to figure out what it is you want to do in life. Either you're going to go to school, continue in school, or you're going to get a trade so you can go to work, or you're going to just go to work because you got to do something. This child tells me, straight out tells me that he said, I just finished high school. He said, I'm at that age where now I'm grown and I don't need to be told what to do. Well, I shouldn't have any rules and regulations. So I'm at an age where I'm out of school. I should be enjoying life, doing what young people do, enjoyed life without the rules and regulations. No more curfews. He's telling me what I'm supposed to do as his parent and what I'm supposed to accept and to take. And I was like, oh no, hold up, hold up. No, no, no. This mama, she don't do that. Okay? You was trained from the time you came out my womb until you 18 years old. You was given morals, principles, values, and was trained, had you in summer jobs, so that you would get the principles and the standards and the training to be able to now, as a young person, to stand on your own, to go off in life and do you. Now, if you're not ready at 18, then you gotta do something here besides party with your boys. You can't feel like I don't give you no curfew. I can't give you no curfew. You can come in anytime you want. You can drink. You can go hang with your boys, and that's cool because you grown. Oh no, no. Grown mean coming with responsibilities. Grown mean you gotta take care of some bills. You got to go out there and work, and you got to pay some bills. You got to pay light bills. You're going to have to contribute. If I was 12 years old, giving my mama 1/3 of my check and buying school clothes with the other 2/3, then hey, you're going to have to go to work, and you're going to have to come correct. You got to pay for something. Because what I'm not going to do is feed a grown man. Because see, the thing is, if you teach a man how to fish, because that's what I felt I was doing, teaching you how to fish so that you can eat for life. But now you telling me that you want me to feed you, hand feed you. And what that going to do? Cripple you. All that's going to do is cripple you and show you that as long as I'm alive, I'm supposed to be taking care of you. And that a woman is supposed to take care of you, and you ain't supposed to do nothing but just live your life and enjoy your life with your boys. Oh, no, no, no. I may not know how to raise a man, but one thing I do know is not how to allow a man to make me cater to him, because you a man now, make me cater to you, and I continue to cripple you by doing that and not teaching you that you have to get up and now take care of yourself. That's the cycle of life. This is how it goes. You don't want me to parent you, but yet and still you want me to take care of you like I'm your parent. That's not how it goes. So let me tell you what my son did. When I told him, I'm not going for that. I'm not doing that. Okay? I'm not doing that. So what he tells me is, he gets smart with me. He talk crazy to me. Guess what? You 18. You can get out. Get out of my house, because I'm not having no disrespect in my house. None whatsoever. I love you enough to let you go and find your way in life. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to get on my knees and pray that God keep you safe and that you learn how to take care of you. Because you're going to learn the hard way when you don't want to listen to the wisdom that I give you, and you're going against the training that I gave you and the morals and values that I put in. When you want to go against that, then you do it on your own. You 18. Go learn your way. Go find your way, because you out the house. So my son leaves the house because I know where he was going. He was going to my mama's house. Oh, yeah. That's where I wanted him to go. To my mama's house, because she didn't play. Okay? So I knew where he was going when he left the house. He went over there to my mama's house. Now, at this time, my son was 18. He's like 40 now. So my mama was in her 70s. So he goes over there. He find him a new crew of boys to hang out with. He partying. He's coming in all times of the day. He's letting my mama feed him. Then my mama sits up and say, oh, no, I didn't raise my 10 kids to be like this. Ain't no way I'm going to take this from my grandchild. So she tell him, you need to get a job. You're not going to be out partying, coming in my house all time of the night. Go find you a job, because you need to bring some food into this house. She tells him that. So he tells her, oh, you just like your daughter. I ain't supposed to be doing this. I ain't supposed to be doing that. He goes off on my mama. Now he half drunk. He'd have had a couple of beers or whatever he had. And he talking crazy to her. Now he's standing at the threshold of the door as he talks to her, because she had to get up and open the door for her, because what she not going to do is give you a key to come in and out all time of the night like you want to. So she's standing there at the threshold of the door talking to him. She tells him, look, you're not going to talk to me crazy. You can go back where you came from, whoever you was hanging out with. So he proceeded to tell my mother, see, that's why don't nobody come around you. You don't get too many visitors. That's why your own kids don't hang out at your house. He goes off and degrade her and disrespect her. He's disrespecting my mama. You know what she did? She went old school on him. She clocked him. She balled up her fist and clocked him. The old school means TKO. She knocked him out. She bust his 2 front teeth out. Had him bleeding, knocked him cold out on the ground. She's in her 70s, and this is what she did, because she don't play that. Understand that, young people. You can't come in and start talking to people like they supposed to take care of you, like they supposed to provide for you and have a roof over your head for you. When they come from hard knocks, when they come from, you better figure it out. You only got you to depend on. So you can't depend on you. The next man is going to feed you, or you spend your paycheck on clothes and then the next person going to feed you. They didn't come from that school. They come from a school everybody had to work to eat, because the Bible said if you don't work, you don't eat. That's what's in the Bible. So therefore, she knocked him cold out. He got up. She closed her door on him. He calls up my brother. Tell my brother, your mama is crazy. This is what she did. So my brother calls my mama and get the real story. Then my brother goes and pick up my son, brings him to his house, and he tells him, he said, man, let me tell you something. He said, that's my mama over there. You're my nephew, but that's my mama. And don't you ever disrespect my mama. He said, I was not raised to disrespect her. I never came up against her, regardless of how I thought about some of the things and disagree with some of the things she said. But he telling him, I'm not going to have you disrespecting my mother. And with that being said, he took my son in, gave him a place, and he helped change his life. So young people, understand something. You have to learn how to be a young adult and show your parent how to treat you and handle you as a young adult without you demanding them to parent. You want them to continue to use their parenting skills by taking care of you financially and allowing you to have a roof over your head free of charge. But you can't tell me what to do. You can't do that, young people. You're grown. You want to be grown. You want to be treated as you're grown, then act accordingly. Understand that. Act accordingly. It's a two-way street. Communication is the key. We have to work together and we have to show each other love. And that's the bottom line. Okay? Be blessed. I want to see you succeed. I really do. Peace. I'm out.